Y'all, I just had the funniest conversation with a white woman on Facebook, right? And I wish I had screenshotted before she blocked me, because I swear to God, like, as soon as she said what she said and I responded, I was like, she about to block me. And then she did. I should have screenshot the comment thread first, y'all. But let's get into what started all this, right? So there was a post on Facebook, and it was like, fried chicken was initially a symbol of economic freedom for Black Americans until white people turned it into something derogatory, right? And I mean, I don't know if that's true, but I would not be surprised if it was, because I know for a fact that that is true concerning watermelon and how those stereotypes were born. I will briefly go into the history of the watermelon because, like I said, considering how watermelon was treated and why, I would not be surprised if the same thing happened with fried chicken, right? So after slavery, of course, white people were not like, oh yeah, like, let me give you a job, you know, because they just got done forcing us to work for free. So of course they were not gung-ho to start paying us, right? So they literally left us to die. That's a recurring theme throughout United States history. Like, ever since white people could no longer like force us to work for free, technically, you know, because we all heard about the new Jim Crow and prison labor and stuff, right? Ever since then, they've pretty much wanted to exterminate us, and they have tried time and time again, like, literally, which brings me to something else. Y'all, this is a side note, but y'all heard about everything happening with Israel and Palestine. Some guy, who I'm assuming is Palestinian, he was like, oh yeah, Americans can't really relate to what's going on in Palestine because they don't have a history of having bombs dropped on their communities. Like, what Americans are you talking about? Because Black Americans have had plenty of bombs dropped on plenty of our communities by the American government. But again, that's a side note about how people really don't view Black Americans as people. Like, we don't even exist. But that's going to get its own video, y'all. That was just a little sidestep. Anyway, back to my point about watermelons. Now, like I was saying, after slavery, white folks was not gung-ho to start selling us for the labor they were formerly getting for free. So we had to figure out how to make things work on our own. And that's where the watermelon comes in. So not only were watermelons brought to the United States by us during the slave trade, but after slavery, we began to grow them because we needed something to eat. And we also began to sell them, right? So they became a sign of like economic prosperity in our community. And you know white people can't have that, because one thing about white people, they need us to need them, right? So they immediately started a smear campaign against watermelon. And that's why to this day you see all those weird minstrel pictures of us eating watermelon and all of this weird stuff. And then, you know, you have the thought, because, you know, if you don't know that history of it, you're like, well, who doesn't like watermelon, right? Because watermelon's delicious. It's awesome. But when you learn that history, you realize watermelons were a threat to white people because they need a hierarchy. The only way they can be on top is if there's a bottom. And if we ever claw our ways up, they're not going to be able to stay in that position, right? Back to my initial point, I would not be surprised if the same thing happened with fried chicken. So this person made this post, and there was a bunch of white people commenting under it, like, well, I don't care about the stereotypes, my homie. Oh, I love fried chicken. And I was confused because, well, yeah, you don't care about the stereotype because it's not about you. Like what? You know, y'all, like, let's get into this. Imagine, just sit with me, stick with me for a second. Imagine if a Asian person posted something about like harmful stereotypes about Asians eating rice all day or whatever, right? And imagine if I commented like, well, I don't care about that. I love rice. Well, I mean, the stereotype's not about me, so why would I care about that, right? And this is the thing. There's a way to say something like that while being supportive. You know, so if I had commented like, yeah, this stereotype is stupid because everybody eats rice, you know, like I eat rice all the time, that would be one thing. But for me to comment talking about, I don't care about a stereotype that isn't about me, well, it's like, well, duh, the stereotype doesn't affect you. So why would you be like harmed by it, right? So the fact that all these white people were in the comments talking about, I don't care about fried chicken stereotypes. Well, the stereotype's not about you. So why would you care about it? Like, what are you saying, right? So you realize that they were not coming from a place of, oh yeah, this stereotype is stupid, like yada, yada, yada. They were coming from a place of, oh, why are the blacks complaining? Basically, that's how it always is with them. And no, I'm not overreacting. No, I'm not reaching or anything. Because like I said, it would have been different if they were commenting. And this was multiple people. It wasn't like one single person Pretty much every comment under the post was from white people saying, I don't care about the stereotype. I love fried chicken. There was not one comment from a white person like, yeah, this stereotype is stupid because everybody likes fried chicken or whatever. No, they were all from white people talking about, I don't care about the stereotype. Like, the stereotype does not pertain to you. So, it's like, it's always coming from a place of minimizing what somebody is going through, right? So I replied to a couple of the comments and I was like, well, nobody expects you to care about the stereotype because it's not about you. And I recently recorded a video about how white people always got to be the center of attention. I'm gonna put the link to that up there, but literally white people are always got to be in the mix. The stereotype's not about you. So why would you be harmed by it? Like, huh? Anyway, a white woman by the name of Caitlin left one of these comments where she was like, I don't care about the stereotype. I love fried chicken. And I responded to her and I was like, I don't expect you to care about the stereotype because it's not geared towards you, right? So she then responds, she's like, you shouldn't have expectations of people. It'll just disappoint you or something. And I said, well, Caitlin, I literally just said, I don't expect this of you. So what expectation do I have of you? What are you talking about, right? So at that point, clearly she gets offended, okay? So apparently she goes and she starts lurking my Facebook because, again, this conversation is happening on Facebook, right? So first of all, she clicks on my profile pictures clearly and she like scrolls through them, okay? Because the profile picture I have currently is of me just randomly standing there smiling, like, and I'm in Detroit. Like, you can see in the background, there's a Park Detroit sign, right? So that's the current profile picture. Then you click again, and I have a picture from the Montgomery Brawl where that black man busts that white woman upside her head with a chair, right? And then finally you click again, and there's a picture of me at the Chichen Itza this past July, right? So she clearly clicked on my page and was clicking through it. She ain't just give it a cursory glance. No, she was clicking through it, right? Because then she begins leaving little snide comments about the things on my page, right? So then she starts leaving these snide comments, right? So she's like, her first comment didn't make any sense. I distinctly remember what her first comment said because I was like, that just contradicted itself. That was oxymoronic, right? So she's like, yeah, I look in the mirror and I see that I'm not attractive and no guys want me, but I blame them not wanting me on, she said something. She was like, but really it's the fact that I have a terrible attitude, something. So I was like, huh? Like, so is the lack of male attention because I'm unattractive or the terrible attitude? What are you saying? Like, the way she worded it literally was contradictory because she tried to call me ugly, but then she said men don't like me because of my attitude, not because of my looks. So it was like, girl, what are you trying to say, right? But anyway, right? She also leaves another comment. She's like, yeah, I went to Mexico once and now that's all I talk about because nobody from Michigan has ever left the state or something. I'm like, girl, what the fuck? Because y'all, mind you, none of my statuses are even public. So if I was talking about the fact that I've been to Mexico, it's not even a public status, right? So you saw one profile picture of me in Mexico when I went there. Like, I just went there and you made all this up. Like, what are you talking about, right? This is what I mean when I say white people are delusional. Because it's like, yeah, I went to Mexico one time in July and I posted pictures from that one time in July. That's where that profile picture is from. And you clicked on my page and you couldn't see nothing that I'm posting. Because like I said, none of my statuses are public or anything. I have them all set to, friends only and everything, right? But you decided to come up with that scenario in your head. Yeah, I talk about Mexico all the time because, yeah, she said something like, yeah, I never go anywhere and everybody from Michigan never travels either. So I'm like, girl, it's giving a little bit bitter. Like, I think you might be a little bit jealous that I travel more than you because, mind you, when you click through my profile pictures, which clearly she did because she saw that picture of me in Mexico, the locations are tagged. So there was the one in Mexico, that one was tagged. Then there's one when I was in Guyana. Then there's one when I was in Antigua. Like, the locations are tagged, right? So it's like, you clearly see that I travel. So why would I have to talk about Mexico incessantly if I travel all the time? Like, what? But that's what they want to believe. That's the reality they wish was true. Anyway, she's leaving all these comments, being so snide, trying to mock me, right? And one of her comments, she's like, yeah, I'm so uneducated, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, if you clicked on my page and you scrolled through my profile pictures, before you could even do that, the first thing that pops up when you click on my page is my current profile picture and my biography that states, oh, I got this degree from Michigan State, that degree from the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, yada, 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 right? So you know good and well I'm not uneducated, but this is what I say about how people paint the reality they wish was true. Because as a white person, they hate to see black people successful. That's not the natural order for them. So when they see a black person who's successful, it really upsets them. It's like breaking the law of physics, y'all. It's like, I swear to y'all, because in white people's minds, they should have everything and we should have nothing. So they cannot fucking stand when they come across a black person like me who is popping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a good job, a good education, I travel, I have a good life. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say I'm rich or anything, but I live a nice, comfortable life. I live well. I'm able to travel. I'm able to do the things that I want. And a lot of them are mad at that. That's the honest to God truth. So they will literally, it's like when somebody is confronted with something that contradicts their beliefs and they're just like, oh, no, I can't do that. That's what happens when they see a successful black person. They like, no, I cannot even I can't ingest that. So they got to make some shit up. So she's leaving all these comments and I'm not even entertaining this, right? So she's saying stuff like, oh yeah, I went to Mexico once and that's the highlight or whatever, yada, 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 trying to mock me. And I'm responding like, that is so sad. I hope you speak to someone about your self-image issues, right? So finally she says, oh, you can't understand the third person, because she doesn't realize that I'm making fun of her, right? So I just comment, I say, ha, 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 like a laugh. And then she responds, she types from her shattered, I think she said BlackBerry phone. She said her BlackBerry phone with the shattered screen. And then she said, as her Remy hair itches. And I said, Remy? I said, girl, since when do Remy make braiding hair? What, huh? That's when I had to break character, when she made the Remy comment. Because, up until this point, I had just been Uno reversing her. She left some comment, I'd be like, oh, that's so sad. I'm sorry you feel that way about yourself, right? Then when she made the Remy comment, I said, girl. I replied, I said, not white people discover Remy and they think that is braiding weave. And that's when she blocked me, because this is the facts. I'm not mad at her for being embarrassed, because if I was her, I'd have been embarrassed too. I was going to tell her, girl, delete that comment, you look bad, right? This is the thing. White people study us, right? They study us so hard, because where you think she learned about Remy from? Be for real, right? They study us so hard, but they never fucking understand us. Like, you thought you ate that shit up, leaving a comment about Remy, trying to talk about, oh, this black woman weave headed. Bitch, the whole time, Remy don't make no motherfucking braiding here. Or if they do, ain't nobody fucking using it for that. People is buying Remy bundles, you dumb ass bitch. You dumb ass, raggedy ass, dingy ass bitch. You left that fucking comment, really think you did something. Yeah, she has that Remy in her hair. Bitch, first of all, who is even still talking about Remy in 2023? Who the fuck is buying Remy in 2023? Let me know. To be fair, I haven't worn straight hair since 2020. It's been years since I've worn straight hair, right? So maybe I'm missing something. But from what I recall, Remy was a big thing back when I was in high school, middle school, high school. Everybody's talking about, oh, I got the Remy bundles, yada, yada, yada. That wasn't even really popular by the time I was grown. I really don't believe, right? But anyway, girl, y'all, I'm telling y'all, these people be studying us. It's so funny because it's no matter how hard these people study us, something never quite connects. You really thought you was oh yeah, I've been studying the blacks. Let me throw out this nigger card. You threw out that Remy card, bitch, I have braids. What the fuck? Y'all just be out here looking so fucking stupid. Y'all be trying so fucking hard and looking so fucking dumb.